back to the Fallon Frequency Podcast, your space for that alignment, expansion, and of course, unstoppable energy. I am your host and mindset mentor, Fallon, and today I am flying solo. I have been having so much fun the last few weeks collaborating with some really incredible women. If you've missed the last few episodes, please go back, do yourself a favor, and have a listen. Last week, I was with the talented Cleo. She is like producer, dancer, actress, and astrology reader. And it was a lot of fun. We read my birth chart, and to sum it up, I'm basically fully on my path, right? I'm meant to be teaching and sharing light and helping others connect to their own spiritual journey. So if you haven't had a listen, you definitely should. There's also a link in the show notes to go and get your own birth chart reading in there, which is so fun. I just love that. I love drawing inspiration from what's happening around me and who's around me, who's in my circle. And what I've been noticing a lot lately are these patterns in my world. I've been putting on the observer hat and really seeing what truly needed some attention. So for the past few weeks, one thing that's become pretty clear is that a lot of women are straight up using the wrong language. And that's exactly what today is going to be all about. We're diving into something that might sound super simple, but is quite transformative when you have the correct vocabulary, let's say, and that's your language. The words you speak, the vocabulary you adopt, even the stories you tell yourself, they are quietly shaping everything around you. So we're going to do a little reverse psychology here, okay? So it goes language, habits, behaviors, beliefs, where it comes from our beliefs that then turns into our behaviors that then becomes our habits, which then ultimately becomes our language, okay? So our language, the words that we're using daily, even the ones that we barely notice, are seeds that are planting the direction of our lives. Everything we say to ourselves or out loud is creating this blueprint for what we're expecting, for how we're feeling, how we're showing up. Okay, our language is directly influencing our actions. If our words are carrying doubt or fear or limitation, our behaviors are going to follow that. Now, over time, this repeated language is solidifying into deep-seated beliefs, okay? The stories we tell ourselves about who we are, what we deserve, and what's possible. For example, just say every morning you mutter something like, I'm not good at this, or I'll never be able to do it. At first, it might feel harmless. Just a thought, a passing comment. I didn't really, mean it. But I want you to notice what happens next. What happens when we drop it down to the habits and behaviors? What happens is we hesitate to take action because we believe we're not good at this, or we procrastinate, or we avoid opportunities that are going to challenge us. Because our beliefs are going to play a role here where eventually your subconscious is going to be like, yeah, I'm really not capable, and you start to unconsciously confirm it through your experiences. Like an external confirmation, the world is going to mirror back what you expect. So it's kind of like doors that you don't try opening are going to stay closed. It's reinforcing this belief that you're not good enough. Now, the key here is pretty subtle, okay? The cycle repeats endlessly, often unnoticed, and it quietly shapes this reality that you're currently in. And that's exactly why catching and cleaning up our language is a really crucial part to having a permanent transformation. It's one thing to shift some things, in your current reality and to have things shift for you, but to do it in a permanent basis, I guess is what I'm getting at. So it's not just about swapping out a few words this week or trying to sound more positive in the moment. This is about a permanent vocabulary shuffle. It's a conscious realignment of the words and stories you're consistently using so that they fully support the life. They support the energy and the beliefs that you truly want to embody. When your language is upgraded, at this foundational level, everything else will also upgrade. Your habits, your actions, your results. It's naturally going to begin to shift in alignment with your highest self, okay? So once we start to understand that a permanent vocabulary shift is needed, the next question is going to arise, where's this language even coming from? Okay, so before we dive into the words we're speaking daily, let's take a step back and explore the deeper roots here. I mentioned in the beginning the beliefs, okay, the patterns, the subconscious programming that are shaping this kind of vocabulary that we've adopted. So often we're speaking these words, whether that be certain phrases on repeat or certain judgments or stories. We've got to detach from these stories. To me, there's a final layer that there's something much deeper happening beneath the surface, okay? These are our subconscious beliefs. They are, the surface expression of our internal programming, and they're shaped by childhood experiences, societal conditioning, past trauma, repeated patterns. So I really want you to start checking your reality, okay? If there are areas of your life that you don't feel are aligned, let's say your career or your relationships or lack of relationship or finances or your health, you've got to ask yourself, are my words reflecting this misalignment or am I just ignoring that? Okay. Language as a mirror. I talk about the mirror effect a lot. Your vocabulary is literally the last layer of your inner world expressing itself outward. Every I can't or I'm not enough or I always fail, or one that I fucking love to get rid of is I'm trying. It comes from somewhere. It didn't appear randomly. It was seeded by a foundational belief. And we have to recognize these repetitive loops. This is about living life alive, right? A lot of people are running on autopilot. So many people are stuck on cycles. They say the same things every day. They take the same actions and they wonder why results don't shift. The loop isn't broken at the level of behavior alone. It's deeper. In an energetic perspective, your beliefs are kind of shaping this energetic state that you've got. That energy itself is then vibrating outward. It's influencing people. It's influencing opportunities and certain circumstances that you're attracting. If your words are misaligned with your higher vision, your energy and reality are reflecting that disconnect, okay? It's like, I want you to reflect here. Are your foundational beliefs supporting the language you're using? Or is there a mismatch? Or are words shedding light, and the flip side of this, on the truth of what you really think and feel? Or are they hiding it? So sometimes we don't even realize that we've got this deep-rooted belief until we start to pay attention to the language we're using. An example here, someone might say, I'm open to abundance, but there's this deep down belief, I'll never have enough. This misalignment, what does that do? It creates subtle energetic blockages, okay? So opportunities pass by unnoticed, decisions feel harder. The external world mirrors back a scarcity. And you get confused because in a way you're thinking I'm open to abundance, but there's a deeper belief there, right? It's reinforcing the very story that you're unconsciously holding. The breakthrough really comes when you can trace the language back to the core belief, recognize the disconnect, and consciously realign your words to kind of reflect a higher vibration that you want to live in. Sometimes we can say affirmations, but if the belief isn't there, the affirmations are useless, And I want to take this even further. Language is not just communication. For me, it's one of the expressions of your energy. It's one of the ways our subconscious, can be shown. And it's kind of this bridge into what's happening in this human experience to what's happening beneath the surface. And we all know I love to talk energy all the time because it's literally what we are, what this entire universe is made out of. And we are energetic soul beings having this experience. So everything you think and you feel or you say carries a vibration. And that vibration interacts with the world around you. It's creating, it's reflecting, and it's amplifying. So if we want to really create a truly, up-leveled or a truly soul-aligned life or truly live out our deepest purpose, we can't just focus on surface level changes and quick fixes. We do have to clean up our vocabulary that's keeping us stuck on endless cycles, okay? Those words that we've adopted without realizing, repeating patterns, are blocking our evolution. And here's the thing. The language itself isn't just the words, right? Like I said to you, it's this energetic, I don't want to say signature, but it's like this energetic form, we'll say, of internal beliefs. It's part of your subconscious programming and even experiences that you've lived. When your words are misaligned with who you truly are, what you're aiming to create, your energy scatters. And we don't want our energy to get scattered. The whole my biggest thing is about cleaning up our energetic leaks. When we scatter our energy, we are not our most powerful self. We want to bring our energy back in. We want to utilize this beautiful energy that we've been given. But we tend to scatter it and we tend to lose it in the wrong beliefs and things like that. So the permanent transformation is going to happen. Like I said, we're going to catch ourselves in real time. We've got to notice when our words, even when they are subconsciously, are rooted in fear and lack or limitation, okay? And we've got to start tracing them back. Where is this coming from? Does it serve my highest self, or is it a leftover pattern? Can I release it? Let's release it. Instead of even attaching it to a story of where it came from and how long I've held on to it, and it was, my parents did this and that happened this way. We release it. We have the power to release it because you are holding on to a story and you are fucking draining your energy by doing so. And then we're going to realign our vocabulary consciously. I want you to speak in a way that reflects the frequency that you want to be in, the abundance you want to be in, the joy that you want to step into. If you think of this like tuning an instrument, your words being, let's say, the strings, okay? Your beliefs are the tension of those strings, and your energy is going to be that vibration. When the three align together, you're creating harmony. It's thinking of your life in an effortless way, a reality that is supporting your soul, experiences that are truly expansive. It's not about like perfection, obviously, or suppressing your feelings or not having a bad day or using the wrong words. It's about conscious awareness. I talk about awareness all the time. If you are not aware of what you're saying and what you're doing and how you're vibrating, you can't make a change, okay? It's this intentional expression. Over time, the cumulative effect of aligned language will help reshape your habits, your behaviors, your belief, and ultimately your reality. And that's why we're all here, Words hold frequency. Emotions hold frequency. Together, they are shaping the energetic field. Everything you say out loud or silently is transmitting a vibration, whether you like it or not. And that's going to interact with the world around you. Now, you might have heard this story before. I heard it years ago, but I fucking love it. So I wanted to repeat it and I want it to resonate with you. If you haven't heard it, awesome. But one of the most fascinating demonstrations with the power of our words comes from Dr. Masaru Emoto. He's a Japanese researcher who studied water crystals, okay? And he basically found that water exposed to positive words like love and gratitude and thank you formed beautiful, symmetric, harmonious crystals, whereas water exposed to negative words like hate or stupid or you'll never actually formed deformed, chaotic, jagged crystals, okay? I want you to think about that for a second. Our words literally change the molecular structure of water. And since our bodies are over 60% water, that implication is huge. Our words are vibrating through us. They are shaping our energy. They are influencing our reality. The principle is kind of, simple. It's simple when you zoom out. This is what I fucking love about universal laws too. When you zoom out and you actually just look at the law for what it is, or look at the principle of energy, it's so simple, but we get into our fucking logical minds, our rational heads, and we try to overcomplicate it. We try to overexplain it. If we have energy and we have intention and we have our spoken words, that's going to be a vibrational impact, okay? This is like, I actually do this. Talking to your plants. A simple, kind word or phrase can literally improve their growth and their vitality. So why don't you think the same would happen when you're speaking to yourself or when you're speaking to others? Narrating your own life positively. When you describe your day, your goals, and your experiences, is it in empowered, aligned language? Or are you not just telling a story? You are literally shifting your energetic field. It's creating more flow and clarity and manifestation power in your own life. I think about this when someone asks you what kind of day you've had, or say you're speaking to your partner. I've done this many times with my partner. I would say he's sometimes a little bit in the logical mind, okay? And sometimes I'll be like, hey, how was your day? Oh, it's fine. I'm like, really? Like, what happened in your day? It's like, it's fine. Like, that is such, what's the word? That is such a lack thing to say in my mind. I'm like, absolutely not an answer I'm going to accept. We're going to have a little bit more to dive in here. But I want you to think about also like why gratitude journaling is so important. When you take the time to write down what you're grateful for, you're literally intentionally raising your vibration. You're choosing to focus on abundance and joy and what's working in your life. This practice rewires your internal narrative. It is reinforcing aligned language and energetics, and it's setting the stage for attracting even more of what you desire. That's why it's so vital. And when you start to see this power of the words that you're speaking, how narrating your own life and practicing gratitude shifts your energy, it is clear that every single word matters. And it's not just somatics, okay? It's a tool for shaping reality. It's a tool for raising your vibration and living in that higher version. But also, I'm gonna dive a little deeper here. It's not just what you're saying. It's not just what you're thinking. It's the words that you're also taking in every day. They have just as much impact. And that's gonna bring us to something equally important: what we consume. What we consume matters. The books we read, the shows we watch, the conversations we are exposed to, all of this feeds our internal language and emotional frequency. I've known this for a really long time, though honestly, I'm not even sure which book first opened my eyes to it, but I have not watched the news in over 20 years. And you know what? I haven't missed a single thing I was meant to know. I made this choice a long time ago because I refuse to fill my conscious mind with negativity, with fear, and with scarcity. It's like this constant not enough messages on the news, these emotional roller coasters they want to take you on, or this anxiety of the market. I want my thoughts and my words and my energy to support my expansion, not keep me stuck in some low vibe cycle. And that's exactly how these cycles keep repeating. The energy we're consuming feeds directly into our internal language and our subconscious patterns. Like another great example, honestly, I don't do this often, but every once in a while, my guy might want to watch like some scary movie or something, a little bit more violent than I would like. And I swear to you, I kid you not, the next night I have the most vivid dreams. It's like my subconscious absorbs that shit right away and I see it in real time. And it's a reminder every morning that, what we take in energetically, it's not just in our heads. Like I feel it in the dream. I'm like, I've woken up in a panic before. It's like this experience that I'm having. So I want you to reflect after this episode. What media are you consuming that is actually reinforcing either fear or scarcity or just like a lack energy? And what can you swap it in to uplift you or expand you or inspire you, right? I read about this the other day, and to preface, I am not a scientist, but I do find science super fascinating, so I go down these deep dives sometimes. But, the words themselves, they're not just metaphysical. Science backs this up, okay? I've read this on a few different things. I looked it up, made sure it was legit. Did you know that your DNA can literally change based on the words and frequencies it's exposed to? Studies show that environmental factors including the language, obviously the energy, and the information we encounter can influence gene expression through epigenetic mechanisms. For example, exposure to certain stressors, low vibe language. It's literally linked in our DNA to methylation patterns, which directly affects our gene activity and expression. So when we're intentional, about what we consume, meaning the books we read, the shows we watch, the conversations we're engaged in, we're not just shaping our thoughts and our emotions, we're influencing our biology. I think that's fucking wild and incredibly cool. And to further this conversation, if you do want to upgrade your language and your energy, one of the simplest ways is to expose yourself to better rooms and better conversations. Surround yourself with people and ideas and environments that inspire you rather than drain you. Being mindful of the media and the energy you consume isn't about avoiding negativity. It's about consciously choosing content or conversations and spaces that align with your desired frequency. This is like the conversation I have all the time about pulling, a chair up to the room that you want to be in. Because by doing so, you're already raising your frequency. Certain books that you're reading. What are you reading? Are you reading, personal development books? Are you reading fucking scary murder novels? What are you reading? What shows are you watching? Are you consuming things that are dumbing your brain? What podcasts are you listening to? Hopefully this one. Obviously, you're listening to the right things. What discussions? What is uplifting you, inspiring you, expanding your consciousness? This is what I would like to say is intentional consumption. And it's actually supporting the cultivation of a higher vibrational internal language, which in turn shapes your thoughts, your habits, and ultimately, again, your reality. The energy you allow in is the energy you radiate. That is what's going to attract, the right experiences. And as we've explored, the words we speak, the media we consume, the environments are all shaping our energy and our beliefs. So to put it into action, to make language a tool instead for permanent, transformation, not just something that you fucking, you talk every day. This is where the practical alignment tools are going to come in. You've got to start thinking of certain phrases and catching them, that are holding you back. Things like, I can't, that could become, I'm learning to, or I don't know how. You could say, I choose to explore this, or it's too hard. I'm open to solutions and guidance. There is a reframe for every phrase that's troubling you right now. I promise you there's a reframe. These subtle changes are going to rewire your internal narrative, and they're going to shift energy instantly, Be mindful of your words. Be mindful of your messages, and be mindful of the media. What you watch and read is going to influence that language and your emotional frequency, I want you to narrate your life, your reality with intention. Talk to the garden, your goals, your manifestations, whatever works for you. The act of actually speaking your vision out into being amplifies the energetic signature around it and helps you align your inner world with your external reality. So, to close it off, language isn't just communication, it is actually creation. Every word carries a frequency. That is rippling through your energy. It's rippling through your habits. And when you consciously shift your words, you shift your energy, you shift your behaviors and the life you're experiencing. So start catching the words and the ones you internalize and the ones that you're allowing into your mind. I promise you, your soul will thank you. And as always, thank you so very much for sharing your time and energy with me. I would love to know what resonated. I would love to know what landed. Depending on when you're hearing this as well, if you've been on socials lately, I am currently hosting an epic Telegram experience with some amazing ladies that you are more than welcome. I would love to have you in that space to just soak up the energy, to really calibrate to confidence is what we're all about. You better believe language is a part of that, and experience a really powerful portal together. I will probably keep it open until the next week. And then it's most likely going to forever live in my education hub. So get in there before it's too late. If you'd like the link, don't be shy. Jump into my DMs at fallonmichaela.co. I would love for you to share your thoughts, like it, subscribe it, rate the podcast. It really does help it get out there to the right people. I can't wait to hear from you and know what you're navigating and continue this journey together. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will catch you next week. Bye.